And I'll take a piece.
It sounds like there's maybe a mic in the ship or something.
The slice of bread.
We're hearing people talk about eating.
I'm hearing some noise in the background. I'm hoping everybody will put their phones on mute,
pilot, in your
so that we can hear
tether
Bill.
cam, I'm seeing some rocks behind
Actually,
you.
Patty,
Just watch out for that.
in leg one, this was happening when there was a line open in the ship's lounge or something. That
Yeah,
occasionally got
that's
turned
true.
on. So you might check that. Anyway, and so to find that eruption at Northwest Rhoda, we first we were doing CTDs, which are
another move pretty
soon.
Yeah, looking at 10 meters toward 110.
To usually
I agree. Should I call that in?
Yeah, call it in.
Above the sea
Coming
floor,
partial here.
It has a bunch of sensors for temperature and salinity and other things that can detect and hydrothermal plumes. So we use them to look for hydrothermal
Bridge
vents.
ROV nav.
It's a way of sort of prospecting. So we were doing these CTD casts over.
We'd like
all
another
the
move.
Pilot, can we zoom on the base of this outcrop, please?
Absolutely.
The big plume was detected
0.1
above
knots.
Northwest Rhoda, and the chemistry was.
It looks
Come
like
down
there
a
may
bit
be
and you'll
some
have more
tiny
color.
changes.
Yeah, I'm going to need some more.
And, we came back the next year with an ROV, and
Good copy. Thank you.
And you saw the eruption.
our eruption,
Right.
especially this one at Northwest Rhoda, it was explosive activity, but at a relatively low level, so we could get very close to the vent with the ROV, and with all the water pressure, it was kind of contained the fury, and of course, even if it was throwing out rocks, the viscosity
Thank you, Bridge.
of
On my way, Josh.
water would, slow everything down very quickly.
Zoom in on this.
Everything
this
fell
thing
down
moving.
close to the vent, so we could get right up close. There's some amazing video of that
I
activity.
don't know what that is.
Can people...
Let me just add one comment to that. But when we put the ROV down and we didn't really quite know what was happening, we put it right down into a huge yellow plume and went down, and then the chemist, Dave Butterfield, said, goodness, the pH is going down quite a bit. So we pulled the ROV up, and it was covered with little droplets of sulfur that had congealed on the sub. So there was molten sulfur being thrown out of the volcano. It was pretty cool.
So, Verena, you were also on that expedition. Was this with the Ropos?
Yeah, that's right. It was Bob Embley and Bill that were leading up that cruise in 2004.
How exciting.
Bill, is there any way that people could find that video online and have a look?
I bet if
It's a carapace. It's empty.
Yeah, it's
you could probably just Google underwater volcano.
right. There's at the on the NOAA PMEL website in our program, which is called Earth-Ocean Interactions. We have multimedia pages that
we're
have a
about
bunch of
halfway
those
done with our
videos
move.
on
It looks
there.
like it is going to take us closer to that cliff.
Yeah. Well,
So earlier in the dive, we were talking about how
Take that into account on the next move.
crustaceans, squat lobsters in particular, how they molt. And you just saw tumbling along in the video
I
a
bet
molt.
it's just a boulder or something. I mean, we can see behind it.
Or the
Okay.
exoskeleton,
Yeah, it's just a
where the
small
animal
protrusion. I can go look at it
pulled
if you
itself
want.
out of
Yeah.
its
All right,
exoskeleton
come on
as
out.
it was
Video.
getting bigger, so it could
Seems to more
Posit
or
a
less
new one.
agree with the contours and high path.
What's the bearing on that?
Bearing
you
to
guess?
that would be about
45 more in it. So
135.
Yeah.
Chunk
Maybe
O rock.
145.
What we're doing is panning along basically the base of a fairly steep scarp close to the summit of this volcano to look at the contact between the finer volcaniclastic material that was deposited by some previous eruption and the more massive lava that makes, well,
Do you want to turn your
might
heading
not be
towards
lava,
it?
might be
Co-pilot, is that target
a
D2?
subterraneous,
Sorry?
subterranean,
Is that target D2?
subterranean.
No.
There we go. I got the right ending there. Cooling body of magma.
So,
Generally, what happens when pyroclastic debris is deposited, it remains warm down inside for a while and continues to
do you think it's
conduct
out
that
this way?
heat up to the surface.
Yeah.
That
see it.
sometimes also carries magmatic fluids that bacteria really like to eat, and that could be the source for the predominance of
Or maybe
bacterial
no,
mass
'cause
that
we're
we're
now
seeing
facing
on
that
the
direction.
seafloor
I
right
wonder if it
now.
was,
It's interesting that it changes
I don't know.
composition, perhaps, so it changes
Oh,
color.
did you rotate? I
in
did.
patches.
Oh, then that's something
That's
else.
not real.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
There must
I'll
be
reacquire the cliff.
a little bit of hydrothermal flow kind of seeping out
See,
of
now I think you can see D2. Yeah, right there.
Right
That's
at the top.
D2.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I can come down a bit. I think that move is done.
Yes, it should be done.
Okay.
If you look in the serious view, you'll see that the water's pretty cloudy.
All right.
And
so
it
let's
looks
get lined up
pretty
for another
cloudy
move.
even in the high definition view right now.
Let's see.
It's much more cloudy than it was even just a few minutes ago. That could either be currents,
It definitely
or
looks like
it
something.
could be that we're approaching an area where there is more effluent, more
Co-pilot, what do you think about
fluid
130 for the next move?
material coming out of the seafloor.
I think maybe 140.
Okay, that looks good. 10 meters again?
Yeah.
Watch lead pilot.
Go ahead.
So I'm wondering if you or one of your crew would be willing to talk a little bit about how you're maneuvering between the two ROVs.
Dan, would you like to
talk about that? Bridge ROV nav.
I'm sorry,
Like
what was the
another
question?
move, 10 meters.
Just talk about what you're
140
doing, how you're
degrees,
maneuvering the
0
two
decimal 1
ROVs, the
knots.
Sirius and D2.
Sure. Well, so we're working very closely with the bridge because we have to make very precise, small and precise movements since we're kind of in a depression here. We're in this little valley or canyon. So we want to be careful that
Sorry,
we are
Bridge, I
very
think
aware of
that,
where the cliff face is.
some
Because as
interference
currents
there.
change,
0
or if we
decimal
make
1
you know
knots.
a move in a direction we don't want to go in, we could put us dangerously close to the cliff face.
Thank
So
you, Bridge.
the ship is pulling Sirius as we make moves, and we're basically just trying to make sure that D2 has enough slack in the neutral tether to be able to look around freely. Right now we're at the base of the cliff, but so we're making small 10-meter moves with the ship in order to allow D2 to have the flexibility to look at the things that you want to see.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, pilot.
I know we get a lot of questions on the website about
Thank you,
the
Bridge.
ROV operations.
What we're looking at right now
ROV
is
has started.
very different in the outcrop from what we had seen just a few minutes ago. This looks like a pile of rubble. Large blocks. Let's see if any of those look like pillow flows.
Crops are gone.
Yeah, do you think these could be pillows, Bill? They sort of look like it, but also sort of look like volcaniclastic bombs.
You could
Yeah, it looks
partially
like a
deploy my
combination
lowers
of-
if you want.
Of lavas
Okay.
and
Yeah, I'll bring them out
breccias.
just at a slight angle.
The
Sure.
standard position.
Sure.
Something in there.
Some fish coming up to your right of lasers.
Come on in, Roland.
Do I see a fish? I see a tiny fish. I see a bunch of tiny fish. Tiny little blue fish.
Small anemone up underneath.
Yes. Oh, there is an anemone hanging
Let's get the
downward from the bottom of that cliff. There it is, right in the center of the screen, going up to the top.
Lost the fish. Let's get the anemone. It's a bit more
There's
current
an
now.
anemone.
Okay, I'm going to pull up a bit then.
Yeah, it's coming
Anybody
from my
on shore know what
Okay.
this
It's like
species
sort of
is?
intermittent. It's
Or even general?
blowing a bit and then calming down.
Okay.
Would have noticed. Yeah, it's like picking up right now.
Well, at least it's going,
So what was
you know,
the question again? I'm
parallel
sorry.
to the cliff direction.
We were curious as to what
No.
what type of an anemone this is, if you know, Chris.
Not really. I'm not going to hazard a guess on this one. Sorry.
Well, okay. Bruce Mundy said the little fish that we saw, they're deep water cardinal fish. Let's see if I can pronounce it. Epigonidae. Is that correct, Bruce?
Yes, very good. Yeah, these are deep water cardinal fish. They're not actually related that closely to the shallow water
Co-pilot,
cardinal
just a
fish.
couple
At
more
one time
meters.
they were
Looks like
placed
this
in the
was a good
same
hit.
family, but then
Cool.
when people looked at the internal structure,
looks
they
like it's
realized
bearing
they're
rather.
different. So the Epigonidae
Fairly straight
is,
here.
split off from the shallow water Apogonidae. So
Light's
it's,
pretty hot on the top of
different
the
just by
image.
Yeah, there's not
one
much we can
vowel
do
or
about that.
so. Anyway, these Epigonus species are quite abundant at these depths when you get into rocky high
Hey
relief
Josh,
type
since you and
habitats.
Dan are here, I
There are
commented
quite a few
to
species
Carl
and people
and
continue
Jim
to new species.
that to me the upper swing
the
arms
last
when they're
few have been
deployed,
described just in the
Yep.
last couple
they
of
don't
years.
look like they
so,
give
they're very
enough
difficult to
pointing
work on.
towards the front that we
Again,
used
the
to
characters
have.
are things that
Okay.
you have to look
Come
at
on
with
in,
a
Roland.
microscope or internal dissection.
They haven't been
but they're a common
changed in
group of fish at these depths.
4 years.
Oh,
I
thank you
think.
so much.
The,
We are looking at a
angle
couple of
those
shrimp.
lights. All right.
Hiding out in a little cove together.
These look like the same shrimp that we imaged a lot,
Yeah.
a whole bunch of them.
If science is all right, we can come out.
Incredibly delicate looking legs and feelers. The red dots that you see are 10 centimeters apart, and that's about 4 inches.
Full line. I'm going to turn you over to Tara here shortly so you guys can find the amazing volcano.
Copy.
What we're looking at in terms of the geology right now certainly looks like a pile of rubble, unconsolidated material. Often when we're looking at volcanoes, we see beautiful lava flows, some of which look like toothpaste tube.
All right.
Light orange.
If you
John,
grab
can
a
tell the
toothpaste tube
lasers.
and squeeze it, what comes out of it
Go
sort
ahead.
of is like a tube, and we call that
Looking
pillow
at another
lava. But
10 meters
much of
toward
this material looks
140.
as if it was
Crab
placed loose. In other
Farm.
words, from
Yeah.
perhaps an explosive
seeing some
eruption.
diffuse flow in the
There's a
Ready
shrimp,
for that now?
shrimp down there on
Just,
the bottom
wait till
left.
he's done here, and then we'll call it in.
Okay.
I noticed when I zoomed in, I saw some diffuse flow from the left to the right.
The current's picking up also, Roland, so it might just be the water flowing by.
Okay, let's go ahead and call it in. Got another ship move same direction.
Copy.
Bridge ROV nav. Can we get another move? Same as the last. That'll be 10 meters, 140 degrees,
Oh, fish.
0.1 knots.
Boy, this is
Zoom on your command.
quite surprising that this is
Good copy,
very
thank you.
different. There's a
Right, come on in.
fish right in the middle of the field of view, and just below it looks like a layer of pretty fine ash that some boulders have landed on.
Be shy.
The fact that
All he wanted.
the ash kind of makes a slump right beneath the boulder on the
Yeah, zoom on
right
that
side
layer.
of the screen suggests that that thing
Slab,
landed
the thing that
and
got the lasers
crashed
on.
down into the ash. That's what we
Zoom on
call
that
a
gray
bomb
slab that you had the
sag.
lasers on.
I hear you, Roland.
Sorry, yeah, I heard the science, not you before.
So this volcano has erupted really explosively in the past.
Oh, something's in there. Come on in.
That's
that
characteristic
fish
of
you just
volcanoes
saw?
in the ring
Oh, okay.
of fire
Just tail.
around the Pacific.
Partial.
No, you can come in on
These
the.
magmas have a
That light gray layer that's blank blanketing the surface is. That looks like a clastic layer, but it's kind of consolidated, huh?
Yeah, it's made of ash, but definitely looks like it is consolidated.
Really you showed this rock with the lower left.
So it's been hardened. A couple of ways that can happen. It can happen if the ash is warm enough so that when it's deposited, even if it moves through the water column, if it moves in a large enough mass, it can maintain enough warmth so that individual fragments of ash can melt to one another, basically, and become hardened that way. The other way that can become hardened is if alteration turns the surface of very tiny ash particles into clays, and then they kind of congeal together.
All right, science is rolling. I'm going to turn you over to Tara for the video chair for a while.
Thank you, video. It's actually not very unusual to find thick layers of ash lying on top of rubble like what we're looking at.
Right, Tara, when
volcanoes like these often clear their throats before they go for the big volume eruption. And so they will blow out pieces of the throat of the volcano, deposit chunks of rock and a whole bunch of debris, and then ash will explode out of the summit crater.
It's relatively hard to hit them.
And sometimes you get very, very thick accumulations of ash on the flanks of some of these undersea cones.
Come on out.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that, you know, might be out of mind when you're focused on.
Oh, absolutely. No, 100%. I absolutely want you to point that stuff out.
There appears to be some stratigraphy in what we're looking at, too, with larger blocks at the bottom and finer things as we move up this outcrop. And again, that's typical, too, the larger materials coming out first in an individual episode of eruption. And you can have numerous episodes of eruption in a single long month-long eruption of one of these volcanoes, months or years.
It's coming on the fish.
Zooming on the fish.
Hold that.
Well, there's some more of those little fish, and I am guessing.
Noticing more
what are
particulate
they?
in the water column.
The same Epigonidae. I think that's what Bruce Bundy said.
Zoom in on this guy.
Full zoom. I always wonder what they eat.
That's definitely what they are, more Epigonus. Again, this species has sort of...
CTDs are both 17 to 18.
And then the iridescent blue of the body. And these may be, these small fish may be food for some of the larger fish, bigger predatory fish. So we're not really seeing any of those. I'm not sure that the snapper would feed on these.
I'm not sure what
probably feeds more on crustaceans.
We've seen a few urchins.
Oh, thank you, Bruce.
Get this guy real quick, if we can. I don't know what that is. Just a piece of something.
Yeah, I'd say
come on
so.
Out. Is that a polychaete that we just saw floating upward?
Not
or
sure
a piece of some sort of bacterial goo?
Bit hard to tell.
Quick zoom
Shirley
here.
says fluff. Fluff, and here's a fish.
Any legs on it?
Yeah, no legs, I agree. There's a fish and a rock.
It's not quite full.
Yeah, if you have any more, go ahead.
We're back into that coarse breccia. And this type of,
Yeah. And quite no two fish. One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. You
Yeah.
knew I was going to say
I
that.
did.
Haha.
Full.
And people call my jokes bad.
I'm sorry, Chris. You are the king of bad jokes.
All right.
Wow. Looks like we have some hydrothermal emanations up on the upper part of this outcrop slope. And I think there's another fish up there.
Let's do
One of those
another
red guys.
Come on in.
10 meters toward 130.
Yep. Same
10
fish.
meters at 130. I'll call it.
I really like those guys.
All right, when you're happy, video.
Bridge ROV nav.
All right.
This guy's a scorpion
Like
fish.
another move. 10 meters, 130 degrees, 0.1 knots.
What do they eat?
These are called scorpion fish because they have, these are called scorpion fish because
10
they
meters,
actually have venom in the
130
spines,
degrees,
those rosy
0.1
spines on the
knots.
fin on the back. So they can give a sting if you jab your hand against one of the spines. They're in the same family as the lionfish that has notoriety
Good
because
copy,
it was
thank you.
introduced into the Atlantic Ocean, and that one also has venomous spines.
Bridge is moving.
Right, thank you, Bruce. Yeah, I understand that the scorpion fish in the Atlantic are becoming a real problem.
Lionfish.
Yeah, the lionfish, right. However, they also are considered a delicacy, and people are enjoying eating them.
So we have these
Thank you, Rich.
lionfish rodeos, and you go out and try and catch as many as you can. And yeah, they're appearing now on restaurant menus. So delicate white fish.
So Shirley's from Florida, and I'm sure she's eaten a few.
To tell you the truth, I have not eaten any.
Oh, really?
But I would like to. Oh,
That's an urchin?
No.
Is that
No.
not an urchin?
No. I don't think
What
so.
is this guy?
So is that a Syrianthid?
Syrianthid.
Anemone? Is it?
Shoreside folks, what's the verdict? There is a shrimp.
Sort of looks like a Syrianthid. If those are oral tentacles right in the middle
Yeah.
of that disc, but it's pretty strange looking.
It is pretty strange looking. I think that's what we
have a bit more
saw earlier
Go ahead and take it.
when we saw that
I don't
that
think
tube.
it's
Go ahead, Chris. Sorry.
I don't think it's a Syrianthid. I think it's some weird type of anemone or maybe even a cup. Maybe an anemone.
Sorry, can you repeat that, please? There was some static.
That's good. There was static because I took it back. But I agree with Tara. I think it's an anemone of
If
some
you have any
kind.
more, go ahead and
Okie
video.
dokie.
That's full.
What a beautiful anemone. This one's so delicate looking.
Right.
Okay. Clear.
So it looks like there's
I'm impressed by the variety of texture of outcrop along this wall.
You say, Josh?
nothing.
yeah, it seems to change every 50 meters or so.
Right, really.
Turn
Like
around
usual.
Another corner, it looks different.
It really does. Yeah, and as we just come around this bend, there's a real nice smooth deposit of ash, and then right back into rubble.
We're still on that move, Nav?
Yeah, we are. Actually, looks like
Come
we're
in
just
on
about
this
done with it.
stick.
I was
Okay,
wondering
now
what
what
that
is-
thing sticking up was. Is that a coral?
Looking at that. What do you
If
think,
so-
Yeah,
Scott?
probably that. I'm having trouble selecting that. But
Or
let's say we're done
Chris?
with that.
Yeah, Scott or
Okay.
Chris?
Waiting to get a closer look.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
figured
coming
it.
in.
Figured that's true.
I have more zoom.
Yep, stand by, Tara.
Yep.
Certainly looks like a coral.
Right.
Have to
Right,
get
come on
close
in.
enough to count the tentacles to know if it's an octocoral.
I was thinking high.
Oh, look at
Oh,
that little thing wiggling its arms.
What do you think, Scott?
It's not an octocoral.
It's not an
No, it
octocoral,
isn't.
No.
It's a black coral.
It's a black coral? Fantastic.
Yep, I agree with Chris that is a black coral. All right, Scott, so, I mean, is this some weird kind of stickopathies? Polyps are all on one side, or do you have a clue?
Yeah, I think it would be classified as stickopathies. I mean, the only choices that are described right now are stickopathies and seropathies. I'm not too familiar with these relatively shallow water black corals, but it would be one of those two genera, at
Change
least
your
as things
directions
are
again.
currently
Is it?
described.
What are you feeling now?
Coming from my starboard.
Any idea how old
Okay.
that thing could be?
They grow really slowly, right?
Well, not necessarily this shallow. I mean, certainly black corals
Yeah, I don't
are
really
among
wanna
the
do
oldest
anything.
known
Change my
animals
sonar
known.
screen to look at the
Some
AEC,
deeper
but
ones
I'm not
are
sure
have
that
been
it
aged
would be
with
of
over.
much value down in here anyways.
We do have the
Patties
depth
have been aged.
profile, but
And I also can't
I mean,
see
it's-
the base, so I'm
I
not
don't think
sure
it's,
how tall
I
this
don't know.
is.
It's more by
But,
feel for the
where
pilot,
it's known,
right?
we're
You
not
just
all
need to
that
understand
deep, and so
relative
there's
to the
probably
vehicle.
quite a lot of food, so I'd imagine the growth rate is a little bit higher here than it is for
Oh, I
deeper
see.
ones that have been aged. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right, come
Watch
in,
the
Parcel.
pilot.
Is
Yep.
this a survivor of the 2014 eruption? Or is it younger
I
than
think you'd be
2
able to
years?
scoot around so we could see the other side and get a glimpse of the
that's
base.
a really good
Absolutely.
question. I would
Yeah, come
be
on out.
very surprised that that was a 2-year-old black coral, but I really can't say.
Right, because this environment is obviously pretty dynamic and maybe not real friendly to successful animals, but maybe it's far enough from the vent that
All right, come on in.
it wasn't too bad here. I don't know.
Well, it's somewhat telling that there are no other sessile animals around it.
Right. That's pretty much one of the first ones we've seen, huh?
So I think that is the base right at the bottom.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I had
Yeah.
asked if we could go around and see the base of this, but it actually, yeah, we can actually.
We think we're looking at it.
Yeah, I think we're looking at it. I don't know if we can zoom in any closer than we are.
Yep.
I think
do have
we're
more zoom.
Yeah, go ahead.
about
Nora.
at max. Oh, no,
There we go.
can.
There
Here
we go.
go.
There we go.
Okay.
And
Full.
Just a bit of interesting trivia while we're looking at this. This belongs to the larger group Hexacoralia. The hexa meaning
Okay.
6, and it refers to multiples of tentacles
Okay,
and
I can't
sheaths
really
that
hold it
divide
anymore.
up the stomach.
Right.
And this is actually one of the only hex corals that actually has 6 tentacles on the polyps. Most anemones and stony corals and so on, zoanthids, have many more than 6. They have multiples, but all black coral polyps have exactly 6 tentacles.
wow. Okay, that is an interesting bit of trivia. I did not know that.
The outcropping that we're seeing to the right now, taking up most of the screen, is much different now, even from what we just looked at. This looks more intact. possibly flows, but we'll be able to tell and get a little closer. And there's a squat lobster.
Zoom on the squat lobster.
And there's some of these light-colored rocks mixed in that almost looks like they came from somewhere else.
Yeah, I agree. Right, Bill?
But from where?
Upslope.
Yeah.
You have any more? Is that it?
Yeah, but we just get a couple more seconds.
Okay.
All right. That's cool.
I think on these steep-sided cones that
when you're happy.
erupted materials often get funneled into valleys, and so what we see, the fact that we're seeing the outcrops change so frequently is maybe because each deposit is sort of confined into a long, narrow depression when it's formed.
Get something on the eye.
Apparently.
As it grows over
Everyone
time,
in the
you
end
have
must have purple eyes.
succession of all these different deposits juxtaposed right next to each other.
All right.
Yeah, that
Now
makes
let's get
sense
another
too.
move.
Okay.
10
Right.
meters. Let's do 140.
Another fish.
There is one of those red fish moving down the slope.
Come on in for an ID.
Bridge ROV nav.
This is
Like
not a
another
scorpion fish.
10 meters, 140 degrees, 0.1
This is
knots.
a. We're waiting for Bruce Mundy to type it in.
We saw a red fish and a blue fish.
Unfortunately, I've got
copy,
screen freeze here. Oh, wait a minute.
Oh.
Looks like a swirlfish or soldier fish.
Okay.
Bruce, it was probably either Pristolepis or what's the other one? Can't remember the name of the other one.
Yeah, Ostixes. So, yeah, it would be a soldier fish. And, yeah, as Chris says, Pristolepis or Ostixes.
Yep, we're getting a little bit of static from the shore.
Thanks, Nav.
Come on in.
Now it looks like it's different kind of arrangement.
There's our blue
there's
fish.
the blue fish.
Okay.
Looks like current is moving it along. And there's a friend. Well, I'm sitting here trying to figure out what the orientation of what looks to me like just a massive, massive flow that has a lot of joints or cracks
Tight on the red guy.
in it that they do not look like the same sort of columnar joints that we saw at the beginning of the dive when we first began seeing coherent outcrop.
So what does that tell you in terms of how it was formed and when it was formed?
Not so much when, but the fact that it is such massive lava. It doesn't have a lot of holes in it, doesn't have a lot of stratigraphy.
Sound disappointed?
Maybe.
Not disappointing.
It looks like it may have been just really
We did
thick
already image that particular shrimp as
flow
well.
and has, or it could have been an intrusive block such as what Bill described earlier that has cooled and fractured. Definitely the fractures are paralleling one another.
Come down a little bit. Look at the base.
And if Deb Glickson, who is a geologist, would like to say something.
No, Deb has turned in for the night. It's very late.
Oh, good night, Deb.
She's gone.
Okay, Bill, you're up.
Yeah, I was just going to say, anytime I see anything so thick, and
How much left is left in that move now? We're about halfway through.
Yes, halfway.
Yeah.
It's hard to
Right.
sort of
I don't
envision
wanna come down
lava
too much
flow
more.
on,
Yeah, okay.
on such steep slopes
Right.
being stick, without breaking up and turning into rubble.
I can move us
No,
further
I
out.
agree
and we
with
can
you.
go down
What
more if you want, though.
Just on the top of the screen now, however, it does kind of look like columnar joining.
Why don't I bring the ship to an easy stop here?
Okay.
Or at least parallel joining.
Bridge, can we come to an easy stop here?
So would that happen kind of like with successive flows, or?
No, not successive flows. It would have to be one solid, really thick body.
A bit, but
So
and then it just cracks.
Right. As it cools.
Yeah, you're getting close to that wall.
Yeah,
Could
coming
be.
up a bit.
Light colored area looks like maybe
Actually, do you want to stick down towards the bottom, or?
Absolutely. Yeah, I
okay.
think so too.
Okay, I'll move this away.
And then
Oh,
they're
wait.
just exposed
You're
as
stuck in the
the
shore.
rocks spall
gotcha.
off the surface.
Yeah, pilot, were you calling us?
Yeah. Do you want us to stick down low, or I mean, it's kind of interesting bathymetry right now. Do you want us to stay lower on the wall or farther up?
I think we want to stay kind of lower.
All right.
Okay, I'll move this away then a bit.
Yeah. Because we're gonna go deeper. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, that's right. That's fine. Yeah, Bill, this sure looks like columnar joining to me right here. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. So if this wasn't an active
So you bring us
volcano, I'm
off.
assuming there'd
Yeah.
be a lot more life on the seafloor, right? Like soft corals and things like that at this
It's almost
depth, wouldn't you say?
south.
I would
Yeah,
think
almost
so.
so.
Sure
It's
enough.
I would
like
think so.
170. We can
Yeah, so
Yeah, we'd
we're
be
at
moving along
250,
at
near
130,
250, and you think of,
that would make sense.
yeah, let's do
Esmeralda Bank,
10 meters. Let's just go ahead and do
and
180.
a few other
it's
shallower
gonna continue
areas
down further slope.
that we've been on. A
You
lot
wanna
more
go
stuff,
faster or,
Yeah, I was thinking of
right?
0.1 is fine.
Yes.
I think.
We're so shallow.
Yeah, right.
I
Yes, that was what I was trying to get to my mind. So yeah, and we saw tons of corals and
Bridge,
fish
ROV
and
nav.
hydroids and dry zones. All
I
those
have a new move
sessile
for you.
animals.
10 meters, 180
I was
degrees,
up around
0.1 knots.
250, 200 meters.
Yeah, I don't know what constitutes the base of this cliff anymore.
Yeah. It's like a mix of rock outcrop and
Good
sediment.
copy, thank you, Bridge.
Rough place to live here.
Not a defined line.
Well, it's certainly beautiful jointing.
Dynamic.
All right, I can come down a bit.
It just
Just keeps dropping off.
keeps dropping off.
Well, we could
Well, Sirius
just
is at
lateral
256
around
meters,
it
so
at the same depth and kind
we'll
of
want to
take a
keep it
look
below
at
that anyway.
the slope.
Thank you, Bridge. And we are moving south.
Yeah, if I back over this, I wonder what I get for an altitude. I don't even know.
$8 meters already.
Just gonna look up here a little bit. A couple more of those redfish. Let's do a quick zoom. That guy's different.
And what is that's a shell?
Yeah, what is that over on the left?
I keep going
sponge.
Sounds good.
Don't I wish?
What is that? It's not a shell.
No.
But it's sticking up in the water column.
I'm a sponge either. I couldn't resist the joke.
What is that? It's hanging on to the wall for dear life.
Okay, so here are my guesses.
Siphonophore.
My guesses? No, my guesses are holothurian.
Really? A
That's one
cone-shaped
guess.
one?
That's one of my guesses. I'm just saying, holothurian.
Okay.
I suppose it could be.
The name. It's an anemone.
No, it's
and I
not.
think it's called Alicia.
Come on in.
Really?
Fantastic.
An anemone?
Oh my goodness, what a strange critter.
Just about done with that move. So
Great. Yeah, that'll position us well.
That is so...
Thanks, man.
Double check it right now. I haven't seen one of these in probably over a decade, and I've only seen them like once or twice.
That is a
I don't know.
Full zoom.
You guys want to put money on it?
No,
I wouldn't put money on it.
not
Just
against you.
to save my life.
I'm not betting against you or Scott, or actually about any of you guys, because you know way more than I do about this.
It sure is a beautiful image.
Yes, it is. I'm going through my cheat sheets here, and I don't.
Okay, it is. I am 99% certain that this is some species of Alicia, or at least it's in the family Aluciidae, and it is an anemone, and I'll punch that in now.
All right.
What are all the little yellow things?
Yeah, are they all like little
Nematocyst batteries.
Say that again?
nematocysts?
Oh, ouch. Those are stinging cells, right?
That's right.
Oh my God. Boy, this is vying with that.
Yeah, weirdest.
Right. This is on the weird scale again.
I don't know. It kind of looks like a neat party hat.
It looked like the hat you had on the other day for your birthday.
Yeah, it does.
Are anemones, or does it have this shape all the time?
That is a closed anemone. When it's actually extended, the ones that I've seen in Hawaii, their tentacles can go a meter or two.
You're kidding.
They're very translucent.
Wow.
Incredibly gorgeous animals when they're extended.
Oh, I bet.
And I think they come out at night and they retract during the day.
Oh, rats. We should stay down here a while. I want to see that.
We're going to need a few more crew changes.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Wow.
So would each of those bundles of those yellow things, would those extend?
Looks like
no,
maybe
the tentacles will come out of that place that they're focusing in right now. It's
out of the top.
Right at the top there is where they would all come out.
Oh,
if you go onto the HURL website, Hawaii Undersea Research website, and into their animal gallery in the anemone group, you'll see a picture of one of these extended that we imaged at night with our little RCV ROV.
Oh, that would be fun. This is really a beautiful animal. Fantastic video. You know, folks,
it is really fantastic.
All of the video that we are taking, there will be short.mov files available for you to take a look at your leisure on the Okeanos Explorers website.
Yeah, if you're happy video.
Yeah. Just look for this dive.
Awesome video. Thanks. Thanks, pilot.
You're welcome.
Amazing little creature.
And this is dive number 5 of this expedition.
You know, I'm checking this, but this could be a hydrozoan rather than an anemone.
Oh, come on now.
The family and the genus name. I'm double checking it right now. I might need to correct that.
You got us all.
Man, I should have bet against you.
You got us all excited
Jeez
for
Louise.
nothing.
No, I'm going to go with anemone.
It's still Alloceae. It just is a hydrozoan
Oh,
rather than
okay.
an anemone.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
There's something
I'm gonna
on the wall. Just
I'm going to have a hard time selecting images. We're going to have a hard time doing
Oh,
that
brother,
for the
I know.
the dive summary.
Are you talking about this?
yeah, just wasn't
Is the fish come on in?
sure.
Yeah, what is that?
Just curious.
I think that might just be a
slime.
bunch of
Yep,
goo
all right.
on a rock. I love the changing colors, too, of the rocks. White to gray to these beautiful brown things.
This
And
guy
these
zoom in
are
quick.
the tops of columnar joints. No question about it. And I don't know what that white thing is.
Bacterial mat.
Nah. On a rock? Could have
Yeah.
fallen down from up above.
All right, come on up.
Okay, so it is an anemone. It is not a hydrozoan. I just saw a website in
Back and forth.
that described it as a
Fish right by
hydrozoan.
your port skid.
Okay, I'm crossing that out, Chris, on my little notepad. We're leaving it as an anemone.
That's very cool. Thanks so much, Chris.
We appreciate your efforts,
Yeah.
even though we tease you.
So for the
Good question. Let's see what's below me. Yeah, see what's below me first. Should we head on down here?
I vote let's head on down.
All right, so we're gonna head on down. So you're gonna probably have to come off the wall a little bit, I think.
Yes, everyone. There you are.
So for
yes, I got you. Let me turn you up a little.
Ask Nab that.
The last move we made was we moved 10 meters.
Okay,
at
go ahead.
Move the
180.
mic close to your mouth. Yeah, thanks.
So for those of you who might just be joining us, we are aboard the Okeanos Explorer, which is America's ship for ocean exploration. And we're coming to you live from a place called the IE Seamount, which is part of the Mariana Trench National Marine Monument.
All right, co-pilot, our last move was
this
10
is
meters at a bearing of 180.
rather unusual way we do exploration. Fairly typical now for NOAA's Office of Ocean Exploration and Research. It's a different model for exploration. It's enabled by telepresence. So instead of having a crew of scientists aboard, there are two of us aboard who are representing a community of scientists who are participating from shore. And so right now we have about 20 people who are participating from shore. They're either typing in a chat room or phoning in or doing both. And the two of us on board the ship, Patty Fryer, a geologist from the University of Hawaii, and I am Shirley Pomponi, a biologist. Oh, wait, somebody said something about a flatfish before. Who was it in our science team who said something about seeing a flatfish?
So it was me, but it is not a Sympurid, which is the vent flatfish. This is another dude. And I can't do it.
This is a bosset, and Bruce is going to get this one, I think.
Oh, yeah. Okay, this has a very large mouth, a very angular mouth. It's in a genus called Cascanopseta. Different than the ones that we have here, and the ones we have in Hawaii. The color pattern is very different. And actually, before I jump on that genus name, I should check and see what's known in the Marianas. So I'll need to work on this. The family's got, Chris has got the family right. It's a left-eye flounder, family Bothidae. Flounders lay on one side, and the eyes have migrated. One eye migrates across the forehead so that both eyes are on the same side of the fish. If you were to hold this fish upright so its gill openings pointed down, as they do in most fish, you see that the two eyes are on the left side of the fish. This differs from the tungsols, the ones that were Farina found on the volcanoes, because it's got a distinct tail fin that's separated from the dorsal and anal fins, the fins along the edges of the body. There are other differences too, internal bone structure and all. So let me do a little bit of work to see what I can come up with. But that large mouth, that large angular mouth, indicates Cascanopseta. But they do have some different things over in the Marianas than we have in Hawaii.
And Bruce, what are some of the diagnostic characteristics that you might need to identify this with a high degree of certainty? Can you get that from video?
Well, we'll have to see what we can get. I think you can get almost everything if we just kind of pan back, take a look from the head to the tail. That'll be the best that we can do. Other than that, again, with these fish, sometimes it comes down to the numbers of fin rays and other features that are difficult to see, although this video is good enough that we can all count the fin rays.
Yeah. Yeah, the video is spectacular. We have this high-def video, and so it's a really, really fine resolution.
Sure got some big fangs.
Are these edible?
Well, flatfish are in general, but these left-eyed flounders that we have in the tropics are so thin, the bodies are so skinny that it probably wouldn't be worth giving it a try. You'd get such a little bit of a fillet that there really aren't fisheries for flounders in tropical areas, at least in the island areas.
Good spot by the pilots.
All right, come on out. Let's get the lasers.
Oh.
That's fine. Okay.
There. Wait. Now say it again.
The mute is off, and those dots are 10 centimeters apart. So that's about 4 inches, just for scale.
So we have a multidisciplinary team of scientists who are participating in this mission. 2 of us on board the ship, and actually I have to say that many of our other crew here have biology degrees and are really interested in, we have our videographers who are also biologists. So we have quite a few scientists on board as well. But rounding out our team at exploration command centers and in their offices and homes basically around the world, not only in the United States. We've got Canada, Japan. Earlier today we had Russia.
Don't descend too much further than that.
Because Patty's expertise, and we're going to be getting to her preferred habitats pretty soon in a few days, and I work on sponges, so we're really fortunate we have experts who can provide a lot more information on what it is that we're seeing.
We're just about there.
And we are seeing some, I know. Oh, unmute you.
We are seeing some beautiful rock faces.
More Columbia joints, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Roger, copy.
So I'll be sending out. We'll be sending out tonight the dive plans for tomorrow. But just wanted to let you all know that we're going to be here on the ship, moving the clocks ahead another hour. So it'll make it a little bit easier.
So if we want to keep going down this, we're going to have to move.
Tara in New Jersey and Deb in Florida and. Unfortunately, it doesn't make it any easier for Tina over in Russia, but it'll be a little bit earlier for all of you. But I'll send you out information about the times tonight, so you'll have it tomorrow morning when you get up. And just so you know, we've got about another hour on this dive, and then we're going to have our dive planning call as soon as the ROV leaves the bottom.
You're going to need more than 10 meters.
because we're so shallow, we want to be ready to go and get the samples as soon as the ROV is on the deck and secured. So we'd like to have our planning call as soon as the ROV leaves the bottom.
I'd say like 20 meters, at least. Yeah.
What you're looking at here, folks, on the screen is similar to what you would see at Devil's Post Pile.
180 degrees.
What's that?
There's a beautiful exposure of columnar joints like this. That's, I believe it's in California.
Roger that.
If anybody has seen...
Mammoth Lake.
Mammoth Lakes. That's right.
And
or if you've seen Close Encounters of the Third Kind,
yes.
Devil's Tower is actually made, that is the central neck of a volcano and also has a series of columnar joints that makes essentially the tower that sticks up with a flat top.
Oh.
Yep, you got it. I can't sing. I've got a cold.
Actually, you have a really nice voice. I heard you humming or singing before.
Not today. But I wouldn't miss this for the world.
We are at 279 meters on IE Seamount. Tomorrow we'll be making another relatively shallow dive at a place called Supply Reef, starting out at about 500 meters. And then day after tomorrow, I think we're a little bit deeper. Chamorro, 1,700 meters.
Chamorro.
Chamorro?
Mm-hmm.
Chamorro? Not.
You can also bring up the, you can bring up our screen if you want.
This is Bruce Mundy again. I'm going to chime in for a little bit more information about that flatfish that we saw.
Thanks.
Cascanops feta, the one that Chris mentioned, isn't known from the Marianas, but the genus is found in all major oceans. Tara said that she saw large teeth on that flatfish, and that's really interesting. I'll have to look at those photos again, but we got great pictures, so we'll be able to pin it down. There are two genera of those left-eyed flounders that have large oblique mouths like the ones that we saw. This is just talking about the Pacific now, and again, neither have been reported from the Marianas. The one that has large teeth is Camoharia.
Pilot,
and it's got a body shape that's a little deeper than Cascanops feta, and the one that we saw had a deeper body too. And also the spotting pattern on the body looks like a picture that I have of Camoharia. So Camoharia megastoma, and megastoma means large mouth, so that fits too. So I think that could be a likely possibility as an identification for that flatfish with the teeth, because Cascanops feta don't have the large fang-like teeth. So I'll pursue that when I get a chance to look at the pictures. I'll type this information into the chat log here in a moment.
Drop down. Yeah.
And we're looking at a coral. What kind of coral is this, folks on shore?
Well, this is certainly an octocoral, but we're waiting till we get a little bit of a closer look to be able to narrow it down from there. Chris has suggested perhaps it's in the family Primnoidae, which is the a very large
Josh,
family
it may be about time to start pushing out and down a little bit.
But there's a couple of other possibilities.
Co-pilot, we're about halfway down the
If it's at all possible.
Roger that, copy
It's
now.
pretty far away, but if it's possible to get closer, then maybe we could tell you more.
Pilot watch lead.
Go ahead, watch lead.
Okay, I wonder if we could get around to the other side of this rock that coral's on to take a look at it a little closer.
Can we? Is this side good, or do you want that side specifically?
The slope looks pretty steep, huh?
I think this side's okay if we can just zoom in real close.
Yep, come on in.
Okay.
Come on in, video.
cool.
You want closer watch lead, or is that good?